Welcome. In this video, I present to you the top detractors of Eric July since the summer of 2022 to May of 2023. There are many more, but these are the most consistent haters. This is Eric July's Rogue Gallery. The Fandom Initiative is a group of woke people on a mission to counter anti-woke sentiment on YouTube. They feel as though the YouTube algorithm pushes harmful content to fans who are at risk of indoctrination by consuming repetitive right-wing rage-bait videos. The Fandom Initiative members are Actual Fandom, Organized Chaos, TurfNation, Wiliscredia, Airricksreloaded, Reloaded, Pop Counterculture, Lil Movie Perp, Blurry Films, along with several other people who occasionally collaborate with the group. The initiative says, "We are passionate fans of film, TV, comics, and video games. We'd love to make YouTube videos about the things we enjoy, but the culture of YouTube fandom makes this impossible, thanks to certain networks and clusters of content creators who depend on outrage, deception, and harassment to drive clicks and bring in revenue. More and more people are fed up with that toxic content and culture. Actual Fandom is one of Eric July's biggest detractors. He goes by Dane, or Dane AF. Used to go by Actual Context and Forced Adversity. He has now settled with the name Actual Fandom, and that is how I will refer to him in this video for consistency purposes. He is a co-founder of the Fandom Initiative, writer, musician, father, progressive, pragmatic humanist, lover, fighter, anti-bully, anti-fascist, and several other virtue signal buzzwords. Actual Fandom started his YouTube channel at the end of 2019 and focused on a variety of topics including Marvel and DC comics, movies, shows, pop culture, social issues, YouTube tips, and crying about former DC Comics artist Ethan Van Sciver. For the first year and a half, Actual Fandom wore a mask. He spoke about difficulties with social anxiety. It took great effort to figure things out as he experimented with multiple names, masks, personas, styles, and video topics. Eventually, Actual Fandom found his calling. Be the voice that counters the fandom menace. He said, "I started my channel to bully the bullies. I'm using my privilege as a white man to stand up for marginalized people who are targeted." He began making videos about several content creators who do not agree with his woke ideology. Jeremy Griggs, Geeks and Gamers, Heel vs. Babyface, Nerdrotic, Ryan Cannell, among others. One content creator that Actual Fandom took a special interest in was Eric July, after the massively successful Rippaverse ISOM #1 campaign, which generated $3.7 million. Actual Fandom could not believe it. How does Eric July, a person he deems transphobic, sexist, queerphobic, homophobic, ableist, and a traitor to his own people, achieve this much success independently? There is no way this fake libertarian employee of Glenn Beck's far-right Blaze Media organization can sell this much in comics. He's a fake nerd. The only explanation is that Eric July fans are a cult. A cult who follow everything their leader, Eric July, says, and they buy anything he sells them without question. That's what Actual Fandom had to tell himself to cope. Actual Fandom believes ISOM was not sold based on merit or quality. It is merely a tool used to own the social justice warriors, the left. The campaign made $3.7 million because of Eric July's large platform. Without 500,000 followers, the campaign would have failed. This is how Actual Fandom rationalizes Eric's success. Pure cope. Actual Fandom loves to make memes. He is an expert, highly skilled. Check these out. Actual fandom is not going to stop. He hates Eric July with a fiery passion and truly sees himself as a hero. He makes images with walls of text, describing in great detail crazy conspiracies only he and people like him conjure up. It's laughable. Believes that he makes critical content that affects Eric's bottom line and literally peeled customers away from the Rippaverse. Actual fandom locks replies on Twitter because he can't handle criticism. Organized Chaos is a well-known detractor of Eric July. He goes by Bob, started YouTube back in 2014, has 27,000 subscribers and a total of 8.8 million channel views. He is a father, some type of engineer that he does not specify, massive nerd, movie lover, pro-union, pro-LGBTQ plus rights, pro-choice, and co-founder of the Fandom Initiative. Bob supports the Black Lives Matter organization. Preferred pronouns are he, him. Bob has been around for a while, almost 800 videos. He started by uploading gaming videos, then moved on to top 5 list-type content, switched gears to Marvel vs. DC comparison videos. Viewers enjoyed this content. Bob found some success and continued comparing Marvel and DC movies for the next few years, which proved to be his most popular videos on the channel. He made regular movie reviews at the same time to try and find an idea to transition to once he runs out of Marvel and DC movies to compare, since he could not do it forever, as there are a limited amount. The regular movie reviews were not doing well, and views plummeted. Bob ran out of ideas and went into a slump. He needed something new to revitalize the channel. So, in 2021, he dived headfirst into the culture war and went after Ethan Van Sciver, Comicsgate, Nerdrotic, Critical Drinker, and centered on anti-woke content. Bob received a slight boost in views, but that did not last long. Subscribers realized the lack of quality content and stopped tuning in. Bob's videos were no longer thoughtful. He takes clips from his lazy and boring streams, where he rambled about successful content creators he disagrees with and despises, then uploads those clips. Nobody watches that low-effort garbage. Bob plateaued. He found a toxic comfort zone that was far too difficult to escape. So he doubled down and used clickbait titles and thumbnails in an attempt to grab the attention of his targets. Bob got what he wanted when EFAP, a podcast consisting of much larger content creators, reacted to one of his videos. Bob got destroyed. They ripped him to shreds, highly entertaining. However, nothing changed. He continued making videos on the same people, nipping at their ankles. It wasn't until the Rippaverse ISOM #1 campaign that Bob turned his attention to Eric July. Unlike the majority of detractors, Bob purchased ISOM. I give him credit, respect. His early criticisms were not disingenuous. He was honest and did not enjoy the book. Nothing wrong with that. But then he turned into a reply guy on Twitter, taking shots at Eric July non-stop, then bragging on YouTube about his Twitter interactions with Eric and his fans. Bob enjoyed the attention but was outmatched and needed help. So he joined forces with actual fandom. Couple months go by and Bob finally accepts Eric's invitation to a debate. Majority of detractors reject the offer because they are cowards with no real arguments that can hold up to scrutiny. Eric and Bob both streamed the debate. It was incredible to watch as Eric dismantled all of Bob's arguments. Bob tried his best, gotta give him that. Actual fandom was feeding Bob questions to ask Eric in an attempt to expose Eric. That never happened. Of course, Bob acted like he won the debate afterwards and celebrated. One of his latest attacks is a 40-minute video clipped from a stream where he calls Eric July a token of the blaze. To summarize the video, Bob says Eric July is an Uncle Tom for the far right-wing Blaze media and is used as a black mascot for racist white conservative people. Airricksreloaded is a new detractor. He did not attack Eric July during the ISOM #1 campaign like all the other detractors, and instead, kept to himself. Eric started his YouTube channel in 2007, has 22,000 subscribers, total of 1,700 videos, and 8.2 million channel views. He uploads weekly videos and hosts The After Party, a podcast covering the Arrowverse, a shared universe centered around the following DC Comics shows: Arrow, The Flash, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Superman and Lois, Black Lightning, Batwoman, and Stargirl. Eric also hosts the weekly Geekly Roundup podcast and talks about the latest Marvel content. Eric initially started by uploading random videos, then moved on to reviewing Marvel movies, sharing his reactions to new episodes from DC Comics shows, discussing fan theories and speculation. He has been a hardcore fan, consistently pumping out fresh content, primarily revolving around the Arrowverse. Eric slowly grew an audience and gave channel updates and held question and answer sessions. Impressive how consistent he has been all these years. Eric watched the culture war from a distance and avoided putting out any political content on his channel. He would participate in other people's podcasts and vent his frustrations that way. He became friends with actual fandom and organized chaos. Convinced of their mission to counter anti-fan content on YouTube, Eric joined the Fandom Initiative and got fed up with watching from the sidelines. So he created a second YouTube channel called Eric Debunks, where he could be free to fully express his emotions as the queer man he is. Oh, did I not mention that part? Eric is queer and makes sure to let everyone know. Wow, hold up! That was not me, okay? I'm using a text-to-speech program for the commentary. I promise that gay-ass voice was not me. Ha 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 ha. Eric came out guns blazing, firing on all cylinders in an attack against Eric July over a 2-week time period. He got upset after watching Eric July's video about the Protect Trans Kids flag and the Spider-Man across the Spider-Verse trailer. Eric said, Eric July thinks he's the hero when in reality he is the villain of the story. We are protecting trans kids from you. Protect trans kids. In another video recorded on the same day, Eric says, I'm very angry and trying to calm down. I'm so tired of these cishet ignorant bigots targeting marginalized people for content. You are stirring up violent tendencies in your viewers. We just want to live our lives. Eric uploaded this on his second channel. This was his first ever full video dedicated to Eric July, and it's only the beginning. Eric goes on to say, how is a flag on a wall, in a movie, out of context, indoctrination? What you do on your channel is indoctrination. Your viewers repeat everything you say. I get Eric July clones in my comments section. You are spreading misinformation and advocating for violence against us. Stop lying about us and telling people to not listen to doctors and teachers. I'm going to keep speaking out on it. Eric July responded to Eric's video, and like always, destroys every argument the detractor makes. Eric informed Eric July on Twitter that he will react to Eric July's response video once he has the free time, but he does not care. He really does not care, and is a busy man. Changing beard colors every few days is time-consuming work. Once Eric found the time, he posted a video on his second YouTube channel and said, I am not like these other people that you have effed with. I don't give a F about you. You're a disingenuous piece of chit creator on this platform who makes money off other people's tragedy. I won't debate you. I don't care. I don't like you. I don't like your content and I'm going to keep speaking out about it. You're not going to silence me. Every time you give a bad take that endangers the queer community, I will make content about it. I don't care about you. Eric was very angry in this video, ending it with, Eric July is a transphobic terrorist, queer terrorist, who makes a type of bigotry content that incites genocide of people. Eric was very upset. The video was hilarious. Have you noticed that Eric wants you to know that he does not care about Eric July? Eric continues to make more videos. He can't stop. In this YouTube short, he says, Eric July is the face of transphobia and queerphobia on YouTube. I've been dealing with harassment and terrorism from his followers. Channels like his stoke the flames of anti-trans, anti-gay, and anti-queer rhetoric. It's getting weird at this point. I have only presented a fraction of the total videos this detractor has made attacking Eric July. He unknowingly repeats the same talking points that previous detractors have spammed. It's an endless cycle. Circus show. Eric refuses to debate Eric July because he believes Eric July does not see gay people as equals. Eric has made it his duty to call out what he believes is harmful indoctrination on YouTube by people like Eric July. He promised to continue making videos and will not be intimidated into silence. I personally enjoy watching this guy cry about Eric July. He is more entertaining than actual fandom and organized chaos because he puts far more energy into everything. Whereas the other morons are boring NPC bots. TurfNation is another co-founder of the Fandom Initiative. Created his YouTube channel in 2014, almost has 10,000 subscribers, total of 186 videos and 1.9 million views. He covers movies, shows, gaming, Star Wars, and loves to call out what he considers as toxic fandoms. Pronouns are he, him. Considers himself a trans-uniting radical feminist. I hope that's a joke, but it most likely is not, which is unfortunate. Turf started uploading Minecraft content, then a variety of different topics. Logan Paul and Jake Paul, top 5 lists, movie and show reviews, toxic fandoms, greatest games of all time, worst YouTubers on the platform, and other random content. Turf's most popular video is titled, Why the Critical Drinker is Toxic, The Problem with Reactionaries on YouTube. The video got 432,000 views. He made a few more afterwards. At the beginning of 2022, Turf focused on Nerdrotic, geeks and gamers, Ryan Cannell, and others. He calls them anti-social justice warriors, reactionaries, chuds, toxic fans, and anti-fans. Similar to Eric's Reloaded, TurfNation did not go after Eric July during the ISOM #1 campaign. As a co-founder of the Fandom Initiative, he sometimes gave his opinion whenever actual fandom or organized chaos brought up Eric July, which was all the time as they are obsessed. Turf decided to get involved and released a video on April 30th titled, Protect Trans Kids. Eric July and Matt Walsh make ignorant statements. In the video, he says, Eric July discriminated against trans people just so he can gain power and make money. Eric July does not want to get rid of LGBTQ+ representation in media because he would not have anything to talk about. Without these things, he would be no one. Eric July never shows evidence because his conservative fan base already have their mind made up. He makes a living from lies. Eric July uses words like weirdos, goofy, disgusting, and degenerate because he hates trans people. Eric July is making lives worse for children. Turf can probably get sued by Eric July for the serious statements he made at the end of the video. I will not repeat those egregious statements because they are too wild. He basically compared Eric July to a dictator who commits crimes against humanity. Unacceptable. Pop counterculture is a new detractor. I'm not sure if he is a co-founder of the Fandom Initiative, but is a frequent guest on the podcast. He goes by Ed, or Eduardo. He started his YouTube channel in 2014, has 400 subscribers, total of 133 videos, and 30,000 channel views. Eduardo is a musician, filmmaker, dog owner, loves cinema as well as making fun of toxic grifters. For the first few years, he uploaded short films that he created, movie reviews, podcast, and some other random content. In 2022, Eduardo took interest in Nerdrotic, The Quartering, Critical Drinker, Ryan Cannell, Vara Dark, Yellow Flash, and Jeremy Griggs. He joined the culture war, just like the previous detractors. When Eduardo zoned in on Eric July, he did not hold back one bit and let his true feelings be known. He had a discussion with Eric July on Twitter. Then Eric monetized the interaction by making a YouTube video. Eduardo streamed his response titled, Eric July has nothing on me, and made highly offensive statements in the stream. He began by saying, Fans don't care about original ideas. There is more money to be made with rehashing old characters and storylines. I have never met a real fan who prefers race-swapped characters over original characters. Insane opinion by Eduardo. The only people who don't care about race swaps are casuals who also don't care about the story. Eduardo goes on to say, the Eric July form of grifting is somewhere up there with what psychic mediums do. They take advantage of vulnerable people who are in need of this emotional thing and feed them lies. Eric July is their Candace Owens. He says stuff that white conservatives say that is kinda racist, but say it through a black guy, so that nobody can say that it is racist. Nobody could make you feel racist about it because Eric July said it is cool, so it can't be racist. I am not a grifter. Unlike you, I have a real job, Eric July. When you work hard like me, you do not have time to exercise. So yeah, I'm fat. Looks like he lost weight since that stream. What do you think? He lost about 15 to 25 pounds. Good work, Eduardo. Keep it up. Wiliscredia is a frequent guest on the Fandom Initiative. He goes by CP, or Charles. He started YouTube in 2015, almost has 8,000 subscribers, total of 945 videos, and nearly 900,000 channel views. Charles is a comedian with a love for movies. He began by uploading movie reviews and still does to this day. He routinely updated subscribers on his Blu-ray collection, recorded his comedy stand-up shows in front of a live audience, and shared the videos on YouTube. He makes lists of top movies of various years. I gotta say, his thumbnails and video titles suck. Thumbnails are busy. Too much going on. His titles don't make much sense. He has not improved at all for the past 8 years. Charles should take notes on how the big YouTubers make their simple yet effective thumbnails and titles. The point is to convey the main topic or theme of video to viewers, and not have them wondering what your video is about. Keep things simple. Okay, end of rant. Moving on. During a Fandom Initiative podcast, Charles called Eric July an Uncle Tom. The modern definition of Uncle Tom is a black person who is overeager to win the approval of whites. This term has been hijacked by racist people back in the 1850s. Josiah Henson, a former slave who helped guide 118 slaves to freedom, was the real inspiration for a famous book called Uncle Tom's Cabin, written by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Josiah Henson wrote a memoir detailing his life experiences prior to the publication of Uncle Tom's Cabin. It made a lot of money, but Josiah Henson, the real Uncle Tom, never got compensated. Pro-slavery activists adapted the story for the stage, producing Tom Shows, where white men in blackface played a black man with poor English, who happily betrays his own race to curry favor with his white owner. More people saw these racist performances, and that is how Uncle Tom became an insult. They turned a great man into an evil man. Charles, as well as the entire Fandom Initiative group, consider Eric July nothing more than a token black guy who is used to complain about diversity in entertainment, selling his people out for the white man's money. Charles doubled down on Twitter after I posted the clip of him calling Eric July an Uncle Tom. He says, "For the record, I called Eric July an Uncle Tom only after he went off talking about a close friend's children. I do not regret my reaction. When you work for the Blaze and argue against your community's best interests, that is rather Uncle Tomish." First of all, during the debate with Eric July, Organized Chaos, or Bob, as I was referring to him earlier, was advocating for teachers talking to children about sexual activities and their personal life. Eric July strongly opposed it, and Organized Chaos asked if Eric has kids and started making personal attacks. So Eric clapped back and made a joke about Tyrone taking care of Bob's ex-wife. Therefore, Eric never spoke bad about Bob's kids. Second, who are you, a white man, to tell a black man what the best interests of his community are? Eric July posted a response video and destroyed this foolish detractor. Hours later, Charles deleted all the tweets. Nice try, Charles. But the internet is forever. The impenetrable Seahole Handler is a longtime detractor. Goes by Chloe, creator of the impenetrable Sunray comic book. Preferred pronouns are she, her. Chloe is trans, no YouTube channel, does all her hating of Eric July on Twitter. Chloe used Kickstarter to fund a satirical comic called Astonishing Gators in 2018. 73 people supported the project, generating $1,910. In the description, Chloe says, "I've noticed a rise in bigotry within the comic book fan community in recent years. There is an overabundance of racism, sexism, homophobia, and transphobia. This stems from a group of men with a strong presence and following on social media. They are notorious for targeting and harassing marginalized people within the comic industry. In doing so, they have gained several followers in order to fund their own comic book publishing. How they got this far on a message of hate is astonishing. They are the Astonishing Gators. One of the latest is called the Impenetrable Sunray. I guess it's based on one of the main characters of the Astonishing Gators. 37 people supported the project, generating $1,170. Chloe's Twitter account is almost exclusively dedicated to hating Eric July. I'm not exaggerating. It is rare to see more than 4 days go by without a tweet mentioning Eric or the Rippaverse. There are so many tweets it would take too long to find the worst ones. So I decided to look from March to April. Keep in mind, these are not all of the tweets about Eric in March and April, but rather the most childish and stupid ones. On March 6th, Chloe says, "Grown man with saggy noodle arms pinches turd in his pants over children's movie for race-swapping a mythical being." On March 7th, Chloe responds to my tweet highlighting the projection of Chloe calling Eric noodle arms, when Chloe is the one with noodle arms. Chloe's excuse is the 16 years worth of estrogen. March 8th, Chloe says, "Grown man throws a hissy fit over a fictional cartoon character, won't watch the movie in the first place." March 10th, Chloe struggles to cope with fact that Item No. 1 outsold almost all Marvel and DC graphic novels over the last 10 years. On March 11th, Chloe shares a conspiracy theory that Glenn Beck's Blaze TV funneled money into Eric July's bank account to deceptively pump the Rippaverse Item No. 1 campaign numbers. I could go on and on. I think you get the idea. Chloe tweets about Eric July almost every day. It's crazy. Here are the rest. Look at these. The foolish detractor can't stop. It's an unhinged obsession. Who knows? Maybe Chloe is in love with Eric. Anthony Gramuglia is a freelance writer. Pronouns he, him. Covers entertainment, social issues, video games, movies, books, comic books, internet controversies, reviews, and LGBTQ-related issues. Anthony earned a Master's in Fine Arts from Fairleigh Dickinson University. He wrote articles for Anime Herald, Anime Feminist, Dread Central, CBR, Screen Rant, The Mary Sue, Vocal, and Polygon. Let's pause here for a moment. This page is from his website, which means he likely wrote the description. Look at the first paragraph. He has utilized his writing abilities in both a professional capacity, both in terms of fiction and nonfiction writing. Yikes. For a professional writer, that's bad. It would make more sense if you wrote, he has utilized his fiction and nonfiction writing abilities in a professional capacity. There. Much better. Okay. We can now move on. Anthony has 7,700 followers on Twitter and gets a good amount of engagement. He initially spoke about Eric July once Item No. 1 got in the hands of buyers and was upset he did not get a review copy, saying, "Eric July's comic has just been released. I don't believe he sent out any review copies, and I'm not paying money for a comic even his paying audience would regard as mid." Anthony called the Item No. 1 campaign a scam because he fails to understand the concept of pre-orders. Discredits Eric's achievements with Rippaverse because he is a contributor for the Blaze. Anthony believes Eric July is a mainstream player and not independent. Without providing any evidence, Anthony claims that Eric July does not care about the comics industry. Anthony says, "Eric July tagged me in this pathetic exchange where he refuses to acknowledge he can't draw a fight scene. The other person in the thread apparently is a fan, so even his fans think he's full of crap." Eric July made a response video, and Anthony acted like he didn't do anything to warrant a response. Typical. Takes shots and then wipes hands clean. Coward.